How's it going, everybody? My name is Ruffle Rowlett, and I want to kind of today talk about this theory thing that was sent to me by some of you guys out there who were asking me, like, hey, what do you think about this theory about the next Pokemon generation, being Generation 8 on the Switch, being based on Spain? Now, I want to take a look at this actual post here because it does mention a few really important things. Now, keep in mind that most Pokemon games tend to always hint towards the next, like, area, region, generation ahead of time. For example, in X and Y, you had the little tiki, like, souvenir, which was hinting at a Hawaii type of, based region, which ended up being Alola, and then it showed up in Alola again. So basically, people usually look at, like, regions and kind of be like, okay, based on what you can see in, in this game, there are a few things here and there, hints towards something else being based on a different country in the world. So, just want to mention that really quick. By the way, currently, the prevailing theory is that the next Pokemon region is going to be in China, because the Pokemon games are now in Chinese. Ryuki is the color of the Chinese flag, and he calls himself a star, and there are stars on the Chinese flag. Ryuki said he came to Alola from overseas, and Hawaii is directly over the sea from China. Masuda visited China recently, and finally, Mongoose are found in China, and Yungoos is said to be from a different region, which we do know. Some people were actually speculating and theorizing that Yungoos was from Kanto, but apparently here they're saying, Mongoose and Yungoos, Mongoose can be found in China, so that makes sense. Either way, all the points above are pretty good points. However, there is much more going for the next region to be in Spain than China, and below I'll go more on about this. Now, I actually think China would be a pretty cool place to base the region on, but I do think Spain works as well. There has been a lot of theories about it, so let's look at this one and see what this theory is specifically saying. And also, if you guys want to look at this theory on your own, I'll link it down below so you don't have to listen to me. I'll just be reading and giving my opinion as I read. So this is the Tapus and Oricorio. Each of the Tapus and Oricorio represent different regions. Tapu Koko represents the American Eagle, and Oricorio Pom-Pom form represents cheerleaders, and this would represent the United States or Unova, which is based on New York. Tapu Fini is based on a swordfish, and Oricorio Sensu is based on a Japanese dancer, so this represents Japan, which would be from Kanto to Sinnoh. Tapu Lele is a butterfly, and Oricorio Pau is based on a Hawaiian dancer, which represents Hawaii/Alola. Finally, there is Tapu Bulu, which is a bull, and Oricorio Bailey, which represents a flamenco dancer, which is based on Spain, which is an interesting, actually really interesting kind of notice right there. I gotta say, that's some mad props I actually noticed that. But the next up here, we have Ryuki, red and yellow, or rather, Yuruki here is about the character. Red and yellow may be the color of the Chinese flag, but it's also the color of the flag for Spain, which is very true, actually. Yes, very true. Notice also that Ryuki has a guitar. Spain is known for flamenco, which is a dance and music mostly made from clapping and singing. But there's also one instrument in particular used in flamenco. In fact, usually the only instrument used, and that is a guitar, like Ryuki. So that's a very interesting kind of point right there. Ryuki was a character that I was really surprised about when he was actually added. You do meet him, like, in the little Pokemon gym or whatever in Ultra Sun and Moon and whatnot. I think actually no, I mean you do meet him there as well. I think so. You do meet Ryuki in the Pokemon, like the gym that they have in. Yeah, you do meet him in, like, the gym and whatnot, which would be making a lot of sense. I mean, he does look kind of, like, really, really, like, badass, to be honest, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was from something like Spain, or, a region based on Spain. Now, next up is Yungoos. Yes, China has Mongoose, but so does Spain. In fact, a particular mongoose known as the Egyptian mongoose is native to Spain, and although mongoose are known to stand on two legs, the Egyptian mongoose in particular has a bunch of statues made for it because of mythology, all of which are standing on twos like gumshoes. So that's a very interesting point to make there. I really did actually think about this possibly, like, I've never really looked into where the region's going to be based on. I know somebody was, there was this rumor from Piuk, about, like, the Italian leaker or whatnot, the Italian rumor guy, who was saying that the region was going to be based specifically within, or he wasn't saying it specifically, but based on the things he was saying, that it was going to be based on Sri Lanka. But there wasn't really many hints from previous Pokemon games like Ultra Sun and Moon, that were really, playing along with that. Next up, Japan, Game Freak, and Spain. Japan loves Spain. Let's see. Oh boy, did I skip that? Let's see. Japan loves Spain. In fact, I heard that there are bus tours filled with Japanese people in Spain, and this happens fairly often. So obviously, someday, they will probably make a region based on Spain. Another thing is the fact that Masuda visited Spain in 2014. Now, this is something I want to mention right here, guys. There was rumors, and this is something that we've heard about a lot, is that in 2014 was when they started kind of working, not really 100%, like making every aspect of the Pokemon Switch game, but that's when they started developing it. And developing doesn't mean you instantly make the game and whatnot. That's just like coming up with concepts, ideas, working around with like new methods to new like gimmicks and trying to figure things out. This is like you would spend a lot of time figuring ideas out and then just trying to see how that would work. So that's something very interesting to kind of mention there. Although he was there mostly to promote ORAS, he went to a convention for research, but that's not all. Shigeru Omori also visited Spain in 2016, and 2016 was another year which they most likely already started working and developing the Pokemon Switch game. Guaranteed they were developing it, because we do know for a fact that during 2016, they had a side team working on Ultra Sun and Moon, while the other team, the main the senior team, was working on specifically some different project, which we didn't know at the time, but we do know now was Pokemon Switch. So, Spain and France, Kalos. If the next region is in Spain, it will be right beside France/Kalos, and it's likely that we'll be able to go back to Kalos, since it is going to be in the Switch. It should be able to handle 2 regions. Also, Kalos is the only region we haven't gone back to twice. So, that's a very interesting one. Even Alola we will go back to in Ultra Sun and Moon, or we already did go back there in Ultra Sun and Moon. And also there are a lot of connections between Kalos and Spain. For one, there is the train station, and Spain's top mode of transportation is trains. Also, Kalos mentions that there is not only a sundial but also a moondial. So I don't know. We have yet to see a moondial in the games. However, a moondial would be perfect for Spain, because Spain is known for its vibrant nightlife. So I don't really know about that. Like sundial in X and Y, I don't remember that, because I wasn't really the best at this sort of stuff. But a moondial would make sense to add in there, because we haven't seen that in Ultra Sun and Moon as far as I know, and we didn't see it in Sun and Moon, so that really wouldn't be too surprising. But let's read the final point right here. What is the final thing that he has to say? And then I'll give my opinions in general, and I want to know your opinions, guys. So, there won't be many Pokemon in Generation 8. So why waste it on China region? Now, China is huge. There are cities, deserts, and frozen mountains. In fact, China is where Mount Everest is. With that much diversity, obviously, there'll be a lot of Pokemon. However, according to patterns/trends, Generation 8 will have a small number of new Pokemon. Each generation gains or loses some Pokemon. Generation 2 had less Pokemon than in Generation 1, but Generation 3 had more Pokemon than Generation 2. Generation 4 had less Pokemon than Generation 3, but Generation 5 had a lot more Pokemon than Generation 4. Then there was Generation 6 that had less Pokemon than Generation 5, and now Generation 7 that had more Pokemon than Generation 6. Based on this, Generation 8 will have less Pokemon than Generation 7, so less than 81 new Pokemon. However, this means Generation 9 has the potential to have a lot of new Pokemon. Now, TLDR, Spain is probably the next region, not China. However, we may get China in the future, but according to Arcanine's Dex description, the region will probably just be called China, which, I don't know what he means by that. My point is this, right? If you read through this theory, it's an interesting one, and I do have one I want to do about the Project Beluga thing, right? Because that's been coming out, and people have been saying, like, oh, if it's Project Beluga, Belugas tend to be in the more Arctic and cold regions and stuff like that, which I want to look at as well. But in terms of this theory, I want to say this, right? I don't know, but there is a lot of things that are pointing towards a Spain-based region. Now, you could make that argument for a lot of different things. You can, like, make the argument that, oh, it's China, like some people have said. It's China and not, Spain. Somebody may be able to find things within, Ultra Sun and Moon that point towards, I don't know, Sweden, or maybe, Russia, or freaking Uganda. I don't know. My point is that this doesn't tell us much. This doesn't actually show us anything concrete. We don't have any proper evidence from this. But I do want to know your opinions, guys. I think this would be very cool, especially the thing that kind of interests me the most is like Tapu Bulu is a bull, and Oricorio Bailey, which represents a flamenco dancer, which is based on Spain. That's a very interesting one, right? Because, like, it seems like all the other ones seem to make sense in what they are supposed to represent, right? Tapu Fini is based on a swordfish, and Oricorio Sensu is based on a Japanese dancer, so this represents Japan, all the way from, Kanto to Sinnoh, which makes sense, right? And then Tapu Lele is a butterfly, and Oricorio Pau is based on a Hawaiian dancer, which represents Hawaii/Alola. Like, again, this makes a lot of sense, but then again, you missed one thing. Hawaii is in the US, right? I mean, if you were to go with the American Eagle and Oricorio pom-pom form, representing like cheerleaders and stuff, which is, you know, in the US and whatnot, I mean, isn't that a bit far-fetched then, right? Because Hawaii is also in the US, but maybe you're specifically talking about New York there, right? But that's also still in the US, so I don't really know about that. I feel like it's maybe a bit far-fetched, but I do find it interesting with the Tapu Bulu and also with the Oricorio Bailey there. So I don't know, guys. I want to know your opinions, though. What do you think about this? Do you think it would be cool to have a region based on Spain? I think it would be actually really nice. I wouldn't mind that. Like, I know Spain is a beautiful country. You also have Portugal right next to it, which is also a very beautiful country. It's, like, I want to see a Pokemon game that's more on a mainland. And I do also want to show you this tweet that I already showed you previously, right here. That shows like this image of like a paint-made kind of map, so to say. Now, I don't think this is real, but this was sent to me by Corey, and I still haven't gotten a response from Corey about like another thing that I mentioned in the previous video, specifically about this image. But I don't think this is real. But if it was real, then hey, then definitely it is a Spanish region. But this is an example of like how a Spanish region could look like, because this is essentially Spain and Portugal on the left side there, which is kind of on its own little part. So I don't know, guys, but that image, don't trust it. In terms of this theory, I think it's a good theory. Shout out to whoever made it, which I can't even see because, oh, my account is actually suspended because apparently my account's been on suspicious activity. Hey, I'm a secret agent, guys. Just really weird. But either way, guys, so I'm not sure who made this. I will link it down below so you guys can check it out on your own if you want to read through it, if you didn't watch the video. But I want to know your opinions. What do you think about this? Would you want a region based on Spain? Or would you not want that? Like, I want to know your opinions. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all the next time, guys. Have a great day, and bye-bye.